Hi everyone! Welcome to the knitting channel. I'm Tishiana Chorna. Today, we are going to knit a trendy sequin top together. For this project, we will need 5mm knitting needles and 100 grams of sequin cotton yarn. You can use royal sequin yarn or a mix like the one I have here. This one features 6mm royal sequins and small 3mm sequins. The composition of my yarn is 160 meters per 50 grams. It is 80% cotton and 20% polyester. I will leave the link to where I bought the yarn in the description box below the video. It's from the Paillettes yarn store. We will also need stitch markers and scissors. Let's get started. We will knit this top in a single, universal size ML. To do this, we need to cast on 124 stitches on 5mm needles, plus 1 extra stitch to join our work in the round. Next, I knitted 5 rows in ribbing. This yarn does not hold ribbing well, but it serves as a decorative element for the bottom of our garment. We knitted upwards. After knitting the 2x2 ribbing, if you don't want to do it, you can start straight with stockinette stitch and skip the ribbing completely. I did it for myself because I like how this bottom edge looks, but if you don't like it, you can just knit in regular stockinette stitch. I have knitted 30 centimeters in height. And now we are going to work the back and front separately. We cast on 124 stitches, so to work the front and the back, we need to divide our stitches evenly in half, which is 62 stitches each. I have already separated the front and back into 2 parts with a marker. And now we will knit only the front using back and forth rows. While the rest of the top was knitted in the round, we are switching to flat knitting now. We slip the first stitch, make decreases in the knit rows, and purl the wrong side rows without any changes. Since we are now knitting flat, we have edge stitches. We always slip the first stitch and always purl the last stitch. So, we slip the first stitch, then knit the next 2 stitches together to make a decrease. After that, we knit across to the end of this section without any changes until we have 3 stitches left out of our 62. We leave 3 stitches on the needles. Here, we have 3 stitches left on the needles. We make a decrease by knitting 2 stitches together, and then we purl the last stitch, turn the work. We used to have 62 stitches on the front, but now we have 60, and we purl across all of these 60 stitches. Slip the first stitch since it is an edge stitch and purl to the end of the row without making any decreases. We work like this for 8 rows in total. We make decreases in every knit row, which means we work for rows with decreases and for rows without changes, alternating between knit and purl rows. Let's work through this step on our own. I have finished a portion of my decreases and worked 16 rows instead of 8. Leaving 46 stitches on my needles. In general, this armhole section with decreases should be at least 5 centimeters long, or up to 8 centimeters. Mine is 10 centimeters. And now I will shape the front by making decreases along the neckline of our top to form the 2 front pieces. So we need to divide our stitches into 2 parts. I have 46 front stitches left on my needle, so I divided them into 23 stitches each. Next, we will only knit this part with the 23 stitches. We work only the right front piece to shape the top of the cami. I will knit 5 or even 6 rows, making decreases at both the beginning and the end of the row. After I knit 6 rows, I will make decreases only at the end of the row. This way, we will leave this outer side without decreases, while making decreases on the side that forms our neckline, of course. We slip the first stitch, then knit 2 stitches together, and knit to the end of the row until 3 stitches are left. Here are 1, 2, 3 stitches. We knit 2 stitches together, and knit the 3rd stitch. This will be our edge stitch, so we purl it. We can place a marker in this last stitch to easily see where our row ends during these first few rows so we don't miss it. Turn the work, and we do not make any decreases in the purl row. Once again, slip the first stitch, purl across, and purl the last stitch. Now work the next 4 rows on your own, and then I will show you how to proceed. I have finished my 6 rows with decreases and brought over a top that I use for measurements. Generally, you can just try it on yourself, but it is very convenient when you don't have to try it on every single time. You can roughly check it against a ready top. This is how we knitted a part of the armhole. And now we will work this section along the neckline, making decreases here. I have 17 stitches left on my needles too. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17 stitches. You can adjust the width of this strap yourself. You can keep making decreases all the way to the top until you have only 4 to 5 stitches left, and then sew them together. For the back, you can do it exactly like the front by working these two pieces the same way, or you can knit a flat back like the one on my sample top. So let's finish the front first. I want to leave about 10 to 12 stitches on my needles so that the strap is quite wide, so I will keep decreasing until I have 12 stitches left. Therefore, I will no longer make decreases at the beginning of the row, only in the middle section. We knit across, and when 3 stitches are left, we make a decrease by knitting two together and purl the last stitch. When we knit the other side, we will make the decreases symmetrically. First, we knit 6 rows where we decrease at both the beginning and the end of the knit row, and after that, we will make decreases only at the beginning of the row and skip them at the end. Turn our work and knit the purl row without decreases dot in the knit row. We make 1 decrease at the end of the row. You can adjust the width of the straps yourself. You can leave 6 stitches, but then you will need to work more decrease rows on the right side. I am reducing the stitches to my desired number, leaving 12 stitches on the needles, and then I will simply knit the length of our strap. Now I make a decrease in the knit row. Let's work the decreases on our own, and I will return to you when all the decreases are done. I have finished all the decreases and decided to leave 10 stitches on the needles. I needed to knit 12 rows, making decreases in the knit rows and simply purling the wrong side rows. I place it against my sample top and see that I need to knit about 5 more centimeters without changes before binding off the stitches. There is nothing complicated here. We will just knit 10 rows now. Asterisk, I will place a marker here so I can see how many rows I have knitted, recorded in my pattern, and then repeat the exact same steps for the other strap. We slip the first stitch, knit 8, and purl the last one. Purl the next row, and keep going for 5 centimeters. If you need to knit more, just follow your own measurements. I will knit these 10 stitches without changes for a length of 5 centimeters and then come back to show you how I bind off the stitches. I have knitted 12 more rows, and I will bind off the stitches in the 13th row. Then we will move on to the next section of our top, which is the left side. So I slip the first stitch, knit the next stitch, and pull the first stitch over the second one. Carefully slipped it over, knit the next stitch again, and pass the first stitch over the second one. This is how we bind off at all our stages. We will bind off the back the same way, and the second front piece will be closed using this exact same method. You can use any bind-off method that is comfortable for you. This is my absolute favorite method because it doesn't pull the edge tight and works perfectly for many types of yarn. Here I have reached the last 3 stitches. I bind off, purl the last stitch, and pass the previous stitch over it. And here we need to cut a long tail of yarn. Cut it around here and pull our long yarn tail through the last loop. I left a piece about this long. This piece will help us avoid attaching a new thread when we sew the front and back together. Now, we work the left piece of our top in the exact same way. In the first 6 rows, we make decreases at both the beginning and the end of the row. Then, after we have knitted those 6 rows, we work 12 rows with decreases. And we make decreases only in the knit rows and only at the beginning of the row. On the other side, we made them at the end of the row, but here we do them at the beginning. This is how we form a nice V neckline. If you want, you can knit the back the exact same way as the front. Then you will get a top with matching straps. But I want to knit the back just like my sample top. For the back, I will knit across without dividing our fabric into 2 pieces. I will work decreases to match this width. We need to knit 46 rows for the back. We knitted 46 rows for the front as well. I made decreases at the beginning and end of the knit rows for 26 rows. And when I had 36 stitches left on my needles, I simply knitted another 20 rows straight up. And my top is ready. Now I turn our top inside out. I am going to seam the back and the front together. I will sew them using a crochet hook and the yarn tail we left behind. The only thing is that I carefully removed the sequins from this thread so they wouldn't get in the way while seaming our top. You can also remove the sequins or just take a matching plain thread of the same color to sew it for seaming. I will need to stitch markers. A crochet hook, mine is a 3.75 millimeters hook, but you can take a 3.5 millimeters or any other size, and scissors to cut the thread. So I secure the front and back pieces together with one marker. And I secure the other strap on this side the exact same way. Now we will seam them. This is how the seamed strap looks. We will have a small seam on the wrong side, and this is how the seamed strap looks on the right side. Now let's join them together with the crochet hook. You can do this with a needle, but I always make all my seams with a crochet hook. So we left a long thread, and I removed the sequins from it. Now we need to insert the hook through both loops of one stitch and both loops of the other stitch. This means we connect the front and back by inserting the hook under both stitches. The first loop stays on the hook. Then we catch the next stitch and work it like a single crochet or a slip stitch. Whichever is more comfortable for you. I mostly use a slip stitch because it looks neater on the garment. Just like this. The sequins get in the way a little bit here, but overall, you can sew it with a needle if using a hook is not comfortable for you. Next, we look at the wrong side to see how our two halves are joining. If you don't like something, just rip it out and start over. We crochet until the end of our strap. Insert through the last stitch, work it as a slip stitch, and pull the loop that is on our hook through the loop we just pulled up, like this. We pull the last stitch through our working loop, pull the thread, and secure it. Now we just need to hide the ends where I joined the yarn. For example, when I was knitting the straps, I attached a new thread, so I removed the sequins here as well and will hide it like this. I will weave it through the back loops of the purl stitches for a few rows, pull the thread through, and cut off the excess. This is how we hide the ends. Then give it a wet block, take your top, and it is ready to be worn in bright, shining, and stylish outfits. Let me briefly remind you how we knitted our top so you can refer back to this summary and knit more tops for yourself. For orders, or as gifts for friends. Sew for size LM. If you have a slightly smaller size, the top will look a bit oversized on you, and for a larger size, you can calculate it yourself by simply adding more stitches in the round and making more decreases. So I cast on 124 stitches plus one extra stitch to join our work in the round and knitted 5 rows into by 2 ribbing. You can skip this and start knitting in the round with knit stitches right away. I made the height of the top 30 centimeters, but you can make it longer or shorter, however you like. Next, we divide the work into 2 parts. In the knit rows, we make decreases at the beginning and at the end of the row, and we work 16 rows this way. We make decreases in the knit rows, switch to flat knitting, and work the purl rows without any changes or decreases. After we knit 16 rows, we have 46 stitches left on the needles, and we divide them into 23 stitches for the left and right front straps of our top. Then I knit another 6 rows, making decreases at both the beginning and the end of the row. Once those 6 rows are done, we switch to knitting the strap itself, and I no longer decrease at the beginning of the row, but I make 1 decrease at the end of the knit row. I knit 12 rows this way, which means we make 6 decreases along our neckline, along our neck edge, and then I knit another 12 rows without any decreases. I have 10 stitches left here. We knit 12 rows, and in the 13th row, we bind off our stitches. Next, we move on to the left front strap, where we need to make the decreases symmetrically. We knit 6 rows making decreases at both the beginning and the end of the row. Then, after knitting those 6 rows, we make a decrease at the beginning of the row and skip it at the end. This is how we can create a V-shaped neckline, and we get a beautiful neck edge. You can knit the back the exact same way, or you can do it like I did. I knitted 26 rows, making decreases at the beginning and the end of the row, decreasing in the knit rows and purling without decreases in the purl rows, and then I knitted another 20 rows without any changes or decreases, leaving 36 stitches on the needles. Then I bound off the stitches in a knit row, and we joined the front and back together using a crochet hook or a needle. That's it. Our top is ready. It is a beautiful, bright summer piece. You can wear it to parties, to work, or just out for a cup of coffee. So use my masterclass. Tag me on Instagram under your finished projects, and I will be very happy to see your work. I will definitely show you how this top looks on me.